Hey, so this video is about the pleasure gap. The pleasure gap is sort of a feminist concept that you can see. There's a book actually called The Pleasure Gap. You can find in like the sort of feminism LGBT section of a lot of bookstores. And the idea is basically that women's pleasure in sex and in the bedroom has been sort of undermined and put on the back burner, that it's less valuable than men's pleasure a lot of the time, that sex has been seen as an act for men. I think there's a lot of truth to that. I'm not disagreeing with that. That's not this video. But I do think, where do I start here? Well, first of all, I'm talking about a life experience. That's really where I'm going. I'm talking about a personal life experience first and foremost. I had a partner who was female, who sometimes she would get off and I would not, you know? And that doesn't really seem fair, right? And that's usually the other way around, right? That's what the pleasure gap is about. It's about the guy gets off, the girl doesn't, but everybody acts like it's fair. And one time, I remember she got off, and then she just kind of left. She got post-nut clarity or something. Do women get post-nut clarity? It's unclear to me whether or not we as a society believe women get post-nut clarity or not. But it seemed like she got some kind of post-nut clarity. And she up and left, and it was very awkward, of course, right? Because now I'm just like laying there like, oh, okay, are we done? I guess we're done. But then also, I had blue balls, and it hurt. I actually felt pretty nauseous because of the whiplash of being in excitement and then suddenly out of excitement, and not just out of excitement, but a little bit hurt, a little bit uncomfortable with like she took a shower. I was like, oh, are you taking a shower because that's like you feel gross now? Like, do you feel icky the second you're done sleeping with me? I don't want that. So then I had like blue balls, which was fine. I didn't say anything to her about them really, and I didn't worry about it. I just kind of tried to move on. But here's the thing. I probably, hypothetically, there's a version of the world where I could have been comfortable just saying that to her, right? Just communicating to her, hey, you got to come, I didn't get to come. That doesn't really seem fair, But I wasn't comfortable. I was scared to communicate in that way. And the reason I was scared was largely because of online feminist hot takes. There was a series of videos that I had seen on TikTok of women, feminist women, talking about how blue balls do not exist, how it's a myth, the myth of blue balls. And I guess the concept here, right, is that blue balls don't exist. There's no evidence, I guess, according to them, to show that they exist. I didn't know you needed evidence for something you can feel. But okay, no evidence of it. Kind of thought all of the men feeling it was evidence, but apparently not. There's no evidence that it's real. And the narrative is sort of that men made it up because, if they're fooling around with a girl and she doesn't want to go all the way, then they can just be like, oh no, baby, oh, I've got blue balls. Now you have to make me come. Now you have to do it. And granted, don't pressure people into sex. I'm on board with not pressuring people into sex. I'm willing to take the bold, controversial stance that is bad. That you should just let people do what they want to do or not do what they want to do, right? But I think it's kind of difficult sometimes to constitute the line between pressuring someone into sex and having a conversation. Especially if you're a man, you can be scared of how you're supposed to have a conversation about that without automatically being pressuring, right? And they do exist, and they hurt a little bit. I mean, it's not like a hurt, it's like an ache and a nausea. It's mostly a nausea. The nausea is the biggest part, but it feels a little bit like getting like tapped in the balls a little bit, and then you get like kind of sick to your stomach afterwards, the way that you do with ball pain. If you're a guy, you probably know, you get kicked in the balls. There's a pain to it, but there's also like just like a stomach churning that goes on because of the sensitivity of it. And so I laid there saying nothing, and I just remember feeling like I'd been pinned in. I'd been surrounded on all sides by the society I live in, that I didn't have any room to actually say anything here, to assert myself in any way, because there was nothing I could do that wouldn't just make me look like a misogynistic, sexual assaulty guy who's gonna pressure her into sex. So I ended up with my own little pleasure gap, right? I ended up with my own dissatisfaction. And I guess I hope there are other men out there. I hope there aren't other men out there who've experienced that. But if there are, I want you to know you're not alone. And I hope, and blue balls are real. Above all else, that's the takeaway. Those are real. You know, you don't have to do anything about them if you don't want to. Okay, you can leave a guy blue balled. He'll live. But it is uncomfortable, and you should care a little bit about it if you're in a relationship with someone, probably a little bit, right? And stop saying they're not real. Like, you can't just make it not exist when I feel it to serve your narrative. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with you bulldozing something I felt and experienced to serve functionally a political agenda. A noble political agenda, but a political agenda.